Hi everyone, this is Theron doing a little pickup here. I wanted to tell you that my audio was plagued by the dismemberment goblins and that we needed to resort to the backup. So I'm still here, but the quality is going to be a little worse than what you're hearing right now. Sorry about that. I hope it does not diminish your enjoyment of Cabin in the Woods featuring Grant. Are you sure your cousin's cabin is up this way?
I swear it was around here somewhere. Wait, there. What? Right through the trees.
That is creepy AF, my guy.
Look, we have zombies chasing us. We're gonna get in there. I don't care what's in it.
That's true. We'll be able to board the windows, barricade it up pretty good. Hello? Anyone in here? Hello? Ooh, there's a draft. You hear that? It's coming from down there.
Are you sure you want to go look?
Absolutely not, but I don't see any other options.
All right, here we...
Oh, there's a bunch of weird stuff down here in the basement. Hey,
Is that...
is that more podcasting equipment? I've never heard of this model of microphone. An Audio Technica 666? And the XLR cable is really weird.
Theron, I don't know if you should be messing with that.
Have you ever seen a cable with 5 points like this?
I can't say I feel great here.
We should be safe here till morning. You want to just plug it in and record a podcast real quick?
Welcome.
Ah!
Hello, it's so nice to see you. I see you found my microphone. That microphone was used for a show called History Honeys long ago. It has the souls of so many dead children bound within.
I don't love that.
I didn't either at the time. But don't worry. Why don't we just watch a movie instead?
All right, that's kind of what we usually do, and then we could talk critically about it, maybe?
Of course, as critically as you want. Just sit down, pull up a chair, and now witness the scariest thing you've ever seen. A writer and producer credit from Joss Whedon.
Boy, folks, if I had a nickel for every time a genie forced me to critically analyze a contemporary zombie film. This is, of course, Board the Windows, the podcast where we take zombie movies seriously. I am one of your hosts, Jonathan Irons, and with me is my co-host, Theron Seckington, and our guest, who appears to be some kind of evil djinn, who I believe is named Grant.
Hi, yes, nice to see you all. My name is Grant. I am a friend to all people. Well, that's not
I don't
entirely
believe you.
true. Some of y'all suck, but they're probably not the people listening to this show. You probably know me from Chip and Ironicus Let's Plays at chipandironicus.com, but I do many other things beside. And later in the show, I'm going to talk about one of them in some detail, so look forward to that near the end.
Yeah.
It's like two podcasts in one.
A little bit.
So this was 2012 or 11, depending on if you lived in Austin, Texas.
Gregorian calendar.
Yeah. Cabin in the Woods, written and directed by Drew Goddard and co-written and produced by fallen fandom icon Joss Whedon. Budget of about $30 million, made about double that at the box. Yeah. Who wants to synopsisize this bad boy?
I'll take that. Cabin in the Woods begins not in a cabin or the woods. It begins in a concrete, technological, retro bunker where people are just chatting mysteriously about things. Meanwhile, parallel-wise, 5 college students are packing up to go on a cabin retreat for a break. we have all your teen tropes here, your young adult, whatchamacallem, the thing, archetypes, that's the word.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
You got your athlete, his friend who is also an athlete, his girlfriend
Who is also an athlete?
perhaps her friend who reads a little more and doesn't have blonde hair, whoa, and the stoner friend, rounding out the crew. That's basically the Scooby-Doo gang, but they replaced the dog with a wide receiver, which is the opposite of Air Bud 2, actually.
Yeah, who is a golden retriever.
So they make their way to the titular locale, passing by a spooky man along the way. Meanwhile, we keep cutting back with what the heck are these bunker buddies doing? Eventually, we see exactly what they're doing. They are laying these supernatural traps that these teens eventually find and trigger. The trap that they choose, the doom that they have unwittingly chosen, is a redneck cannibal zombie family that then rises from their graves and attacks them, picking them off one by one, quite tropily. Apparently, this is all a grand design, a great ritual, meant to stave off a total apocalypse and Armageddon at the hands of old forgotten gods that are satiated by the regular death of young people following certain culturally accepted rules. All of the other bunkers of the world have fallen in their annual duty, failed to get the proper the proper provenance of bloodlust, and therefore the last chance is this cabin in the woods. But what's that? A little bit of genre savviness, and the power of that sticky icky has saved our college students, and therefore damned us all. The last two survivors go down into the bunker itself, discover that what sort of machinations have been laid around them, and deny their duty, therefore ending all life on the pale blue dot of Earth.
Hey, what dummy called it torture porn and not sticky icky? just by the way. Man, we really missed an opportunity as a culture.
I think that was the central point of the movie, really.
Yeah, it really does want to be a criticism, or at least an analysis of sort of horror movie tropes, both in the slasher movie tradition. This is almost an adaptation of Men, Women, and Chainsaws, the sort of the seminal book on slasher movies. Whether or not it succeeds or not, we will figure out over the next however many minutes that we decide.
Well, how long is the movie? Because
an hour 35, so we need to talk for at least an hour 36.
There we go.
To keep our tradition strong. Yeah, this is just kind of open discussion at this point. I think I really want to say, first off, the cast is real solid all around. I cannot think of a single person whose performance I personally find disappointing.
This is like the last pre-Thor Chris Hemsworth vehicle.
I was surprised. So
I think the wide release might have even been a few months after Thor.
It was, and it was filmed in like 2008 or 2009 and then released after Thor. So yeah, a pre-breakout Chris Hemsworth, which is just sort of weird to think about because the MCU has, at this point destroyed all semblance of like what a movie is supposed to look like.
And what a Chris Hemsworth is supposed to look like. He's
And what a Chris Hemsworth is supposed to look like. He looks in shape, but not ridiculously shredded.
Well, they tempered it, right? He's supposed to be a football player, but then he also knows a bunch about whatever class she's taking and the textbooks to read.
Yeah, sociology.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a thoughtful jock, which they even make fun of later. They're like, what the heck is happening here? He actually reads books, and he's acting like this total Meathead.
Yeah, they refer to him as acting like an alpha male at some point. Which I think is pretty clever because it's also in a room where there's a big wolf head, even though that science is basically debunked.
Which he should know at this point.
As a sociology major.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, it's not him who says it. It's Marty, the stoner. So yeah, it does open. It's interesting. It does open, like, the first lines of dialogue are kind of two guys blaming women for their problems. Which winds up accidentally being the theme of the movie. I certainly don't think that was there.
Remind me of some of those lines.
He's
I
talking
think
about
women problems might be the first two words of the movie.
He's like, I'm not saying it's hormonal, but she's like hyped up on fertility treatments because there are these two guys played by.
It's Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins, who are just these two, like, schlubby dudes, which is nice.
Bradley Whitford is just doing his West Wing character.
Yeah.
Like, this is Josh Lyman in a different job. Like, the Santos presidency didn't work out well. He got converted to horror bunker duty.
From one bureaucracy to another, you know.
You know, that's interesting because in my last rewatch of this, I was kind of thinking, like, what is sort of the history of these people? Like, what jobs do you take to get this? And it would not surprise me if, like, government work or, like, military contractor would be a pathway to this.
They did remind me of drone operators in some way.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good parallel. We'll get into that. Full disclosure, we did kind of pick this movie with the general theme of surveillance, because that ties to Grant, the project that you had. But yeah, not to get away from what we were just talking about. The one couple is trying to start a family, but he's talking about how his wife has child-proofed their whole home before they're even, like, expecting yet. She's, like, just starting fertility treatment, and just sort of, like, complaining about this and saying, you know, I'm not blaming women's problems, but also women be child-proofing, you know? And they sort of, laid some of the groundwork for the ritual that's going to take place. It's an interesting, I think, cold open, and you get a sense of how it's not that they're not professional, it's just that this is so mundane to them.
Right.
Yeah.
But then to follow that thread a little longer, the first thing we see outside the bunker is a woman with no pants on.
Yep.
Right. This is not the first time I think the movie wants to, and it is unfortunate that slang has evolved in the direction it has for what I'm about to say. The movie wants to have its cake and eat it too.
I mean, I guess it is the first time. We're in, like, the third minute of the movie, but...
Right, but it's not the last time it happens either. Where it says,
no.
oh, male gaze, we tricked you into having it. Aren't you naughty, movie audience?
Right, there's a huge moment or near the midpoint that's just this explicitly, right, where the entire crew of, like, schlubby, middle-aged, receding hairline men are staring at a screen, just hoping and praying for one of our college babes, like, shirts to open up. The camera is on them in their anticipation, just, like, slack-jawed waiting, and that is a bit of, like, you know, audience indictment, right? And oh wow, I see what you're going for there. Then 3 minutes later, they're out, and you, the viewer, like, we're not in the bunker anymore, we're in the scene. You, the viewer, are enjoying it for whatever reasons you may do, however many layers of irony you think are between you and the bare breasts, they're there for you all the same.
Right. And then when, you know, in universe, when someone chastises them a little bit for you know, their chauvinistic behavior, they're like, oh, we have to keep the customer satisfied, which, again, I do know what it's trying to do, but it reminds me a lot about the marketing around, say, the Call of Duty video games. Like, Oh, aren't no-knock raids terrible? Isn't war awful? Also, there's an achievement for doing this perfectly. For shooting everyone in the head with one bullet.
Yeah, that's
Which
very
you
much
should
the
feel
entire series. Yeah.
Yeah, which you should feel bad about. But also, here's a little dopamine hit for doing it, and feel free to repeat this level as many times as you want to shoot people in the head.
Forget to press F to pay respects.
Watch Cabin in the Woods to respect women.
Yeah. The whole like genre commentary lane, right? The whole premise is the most have your cake and eat it too way to make a story, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't think it ever rises above that or even does anything terribly interesting about it. It's if there's something to dig into, it is more toward the periphery and away from that particular point.
Yeah, I can also say I saw this in theaters when it came out, and at the time when I was in my like mid-20s, it did feel new and critical and even a little transgressive in a way, to me. And some of that was like I was learning to think critically about media still, and it felt like someone was going on that journey with me. And I do still have like a fondness for it because of that. It's also my wife's favorite horror movie for some of that. But this isn't quite the John, when we did Diary of the Dead, I talked about like the reason I like this movie is for what it's trying to be. I think Diary of the Dead, there's more meat on that bone than there is with this. I think it's a more interesting, ambitious failure than this is. And all I can say is that some of it's got to be just the cultural shift between 2012 and now, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. Do you think how would you qualify it as a failure? Like, in that it didn't live up to what you hoped, or that it didn't live up to what it was attempting to do?
I would like to sort of pose that question to all of us. Mm-hmm. I can go first. It is a movie that does not, for me, reward multiple viewings in the same way that I feel that Diary of the Dead has, or Night of the Living Dead, which I've seen dozens of times. Yeah, I think you can well, I'll stick with this. You can have the whole cake in one sitting and say, that was okay, I don't need that cake again.
What is this, rum raisin?
Rum raisin, interesting. I'm glad I've had it. I don't know if I need this every year. So yeah, same question to the two of you.
I will let you go first, man.
Okay. Well, I don't think this movie is a failure. I just think it's not. I would say that the point about like self-aware genre criticism is the movie's weak point, which is a shame because it's what the movie's sold on, right? It's the reputation. It's what people talk about when they talk about Cabin in the Woods, and I think it's just kind of limp. I as a workplace comedy, I think this movie's really great. Which, again, is why you cast Bradley Whitford in that role. The West Wing is the same way. As a workplace comedy, that's a great show. As a model for American politics, what the fuck are you doing?
You could set a whole movie in that bunker, or a whole TV show, and I would watch the shit out of that.
And conversely, I think if you take the bunker out and you just have this boilerplate teen slasher Cabin in the Woods movie, it's perfectly able. I like these kids. They're fun. One of my favorite lines in any sort of film like this is is going to be, quote, "It was pioneer days. People had to make their own interrogation rooms."
Yeah.
That's so good. that is a great comic relief joke in the tension building stage of your teen zombie slasher. But when it's like, hey, do you get it? Do you see what we're trying to say about, or the questions we're trying to raise about what this says about you, the viewer, and this, the industry? I'm like, I don't know. I don't. Not to steal my own conclusion for later, but I don't see myself in either the big angry gods at the center of the earth or the Institute. And I don't see much of the industry in the Institute either. And maybe that's because of my shallow experience with this segment of the industry. Like, maybe these guys read more like the low budget, almost like stick to it guerrilla angle that the horror part of the film industry lives in. But like, why isn't, where are the shareholders in this if we're going to talk about the film industry?
I assumed that's what the ancient gods were.
They don't. It can't be, because the ancient gods care very, very much about content. They care about what's in the movie and meeting their expectations.
I do want to unpack that, but John, you're not getting away from the question. You know, is this movie a failure? And I gotta say, yeah, failure. Grant, you're right. That's probably too strong of a word, but I picked it, and I'm gonna stand by it. No middle of the road. That's the board the windows promise. Is this movie a failure? And if so, in what ways does it fail?
Yeah, I think. I don't know if I would call it a failure per se. I feel like if you were grading this as a paper, to me it would be like a C plus or a B minus, where like it is entertaining. It did have a lot of fun things to it, but it, like you pointed out, it has a lot of kind of stuff that doesn't quite hold up to scrutiny. This is a pretty harsh quote I saw from the Wikipedia article. Mentions that David Rooney of the Hollywood Reporter remarked, "It's just too bad the movie is never much more than a hollow exercise in self-reflexive cleverness that's not nearly as ingenious as it seems to think." And I did find that that resonated with me as a critique of the movie, that it feels a little bit, I don't know, sophomoric might be a word for it, but like, Theron, you mentioned when you saw it at the time, you felt like, oh, this is someone who's coming along with me on this new journey of understanding media criticism, and that's kind of what it feels like to me. Is like it's a pretty decent first effort, and it was this guy's Drew Goddard's debut directing project, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like he had ideas and they attempted to explore them, but they just didn't really push it as far as it could have gone, or that we especially wish it would have gone now. And who knows how much of that was Joss Whedon stepping in and saying, "Wait, but wouldn't it be hilarious?"
Yeah, it's also we're in a world where you can look at that and say, yes, Scream kind of might have done this a little better.
Yeah, and that was 10 years earlier.
Yeah, 96,
at least,
I think.
I was so there's a bit in the early, in like the first act, where in the bunker they talk about something like went wrong in 98 and screwed everything up. And I was so excited, like, yes, I'm going to look up when Scream came out later. It's going to be 1998. I'm going to get this joke. No, 96. It's so easy. It would have been so easy.
That's a reference to The Faculty, apparently. That is it.
I was going to say, I'm sure it's an actual reference.
Is the fan consensus is that is a reference to The Faculty, where I have not seen it, but my understanding is that few of these students die, and they make some reference to the chem department screwing up in there. Very few of the students die, and they defeat the monsters with chemicals or something like that. So,
okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, so like my understanding is that is a coy reference to the faculty, which is, kind of neat.
That they had. It was like a balance of some of the references felt a little too like Ready Player One, where it's like, remember that? But then some of them I thought were genuinely really funny, like the whole the Japanese ghost story with all of the little girls in the elementary school classroom. Like every time they brought that up, I thought it was hilarious because it did feel like an actual like, oh, you guys do appreciate that kind of horror, and you're doing like a fun satirical little bit on it.
I do like some of the subplots going on. Like the J horror thing is really good. Just the journey of like the zombie arm is pretty good. I guess it's not really a subplot. That's more like a setup and good payoff. But Ronald the intern or whatever. There's a lot of little bits I think going on that that create a bigger world, and it's almost like I like I said before, I kind of wish we could have just stayed in the bunker the whole movie and just had the whole teen thing going on in the background. Unfortunately, I do like the teens, like you say. They're smart, they're resourceful. Even though the deck is stacked against them, they're doing their best.
They are. I do like the reveal that this all happens because everyone is on drugs. Only one of them knows they're on drugs.
And they are the ones that make it out.
They're
because they chose the drug.
They're being dosed with be stupid gas at all times.
Yeah, and that if they weren't, there's sort of an implication they might have survived. Because there's little things like, even when what's his name, Holden, when he like throws when they've all been locked into their rooms by the facility, and then Holden throws a chair through the two-way mirror from earlier to give people an escape. Like that is neat. That's a good use of something that was planted before and a thing that I might do in that situation.
I have
he
a
also
related question.
knows Latin. Like
Yes, but not very well, which is another part of the big conversation around this movie that I wouldn't mind getting into. The ritual that they are performing.
Yeah.
Right?
I think one of the more interesting things about the commentary that I wish had more follow-up is how forced into these roles these teens are that don't really fit them, right? Like the airhead girl, Jules, has been dosed with extra stupid juice inside her hair dye because there has to be a dumb blonde. That's part of it. That's the one that gets the most attention, but like, yeah, if there was something about them beefing up Holden's like cred to be the scholar, the same way there is for Chris Hemsworth's character Kurt becoming the athlete, rather than in life he's a student athlete. He's respected in both spheres. Like,
yeah, let's just dive into those the archetypes the movie says. So they're sort of archetypes is the right word. I guess now we're moving towards like calling those things tropes as far as story goes.
I think on release, TV tropes was at its height. We were calling them tropes back in 2012 too.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, now there is still like now if you go to the YA section, some books on the back cover have like a list of the tropes that are in the book. So like, oh, if you like this particular sort of romance or whatever, that is just listed on the back of the book, which I'm not sure how I feel about. But
got a spice level like my local Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. I'm an old man and I hate everything that is new. So that it could be that. On the other hand, there's I don't know if I should say this out loud, but so the book, the Locked Tomb book series, anyone know that? Gideon the Ninth.
Yeah, the face paint people.
Yeah, on the back of the book it says like lesbian necromancers in space, and there was very little lesbians and very little space in that book. So it is like I guess I'm just mad at the concept of marketing existing, but still I think there's something about the TV tropesification of marketing that I'm not totally down with. I think the zombies are using some sort of concrete saw. I don't know if you can hear that.
I think I heard.
Good thing we're in this triple reinforced bunker. Now I don't think they can get through that.
What you're saying though.
Archetypes, yeah.
Well, sorry. I hope this doesn't derail you, but just I think that definitely speaks to the point that the movie did like try its hardest to make. And Grant, you mentioned that also of like how these characters are just being forced into molds that they don't quite fit. I suddenly remembered that Marty, the stoner, that's his big diatribe in the van early on when he's smoking, is like that everything is being just like polished and crammed to fit into this flat, boring structure. And then Theron, you mentioned like the idea of marketing as well. That was kind of my read on the crew that's in the bunker the whole time, is like, oh, it feels a little bit like this is meant to be an allegory for advertising in a way, and like how they're just constantly like pulling these strings and manipulating situations in order to get these characters to like force their brains into certain patterns and to feel certain ways about things.
Yeah. Some of that stretches belief a little bit, like the gas that makes you say, "Wait, we need to split up."
Instantly.
Which I suppose is meant to be a laugh line. So like, I'll get that, but it does stretch my willing suspension of disbelief a little bit. So yeah, there's
no gas that makes you lick taxidermy. She was just really into it.
Oh,
that's
boy.
The creepiest part of the whole movie is how into it she is.
Yeah. Even that is supposed to be, they talk about the stuff that the chemical processes they've done to her is supposed to like increase her libido.
There's three living human beings in that room. She's all up on the wolf. There's something else going on. No.
Well, she wasn't dared to make out with them. So really, this is Chris Hemsworth's fault.
4. Sorry, I forgot how to count. They gave me the stupid gas. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's Marty's fault. He dares her to kiss the moose, who turns out to be a wolf, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the 5 characters sort of align with these 5 ritual archetypes that are also kind of pulled from our history of slasher movies. You've got Marty, who's supposed to be the fool because he's the stoner. Holden, who's supposed to be the scholar because he knows a little bit of Latin. Dana, who's supposed to be the virgin, and which is kind of the final girl as we understand that now. Kurt, Chris Hemsworth character, is supposed to be the athlete, and Jules, the archetype is whore, which I don't love that word, but that is the word the movie uses for its archetype, and that's why I'm going to use it in this context for this podcast. But the setup also shows that they don't exactly fit those things really well at all, like you were talking about. Yeah, Kurt, the athlete, knows which economics books you're supposed to be reading to seem insightful in your class. The Jules, the so-called whore, is in a what appears to be committed relationship. And later when you're talking about the make out with the moose/wolf scene, when she comes on to Marty, he says, "Yeah, we made out one time freshman year." So
presumably before she was dating Kurt, perhaps before they even met. Who knows? They don't elaborate.
No, but I mean they're also still all friends. So whatever
yeah.
relationship the three of them have, Jules, Kurt, and Marty, does seem to be based on, mutual respect and love. So yeah, and then Holden, at some point, Kurt refers to him as the best pair of hands on the football team. So he's really not even the scholar. Like, none of this works.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is actually just a retelling of The Breakfast Club?
The Breakfast Club is another failed ritual. The
They
janitor
just never
was
touched
to...
the church. Yeah, the janitor was the harbinger, and they just never touched the cursed book and read the incantation.
Yeah, the principal was supposed to put on a mask and murder all of them. When did The Breakfast Club come out?
86.
Oh, dang it! If only it was 98.
Anthony Michael Hall looked real different in 98, let me tell you.
Yeah, I believe it.
85, I was so close.
Yeah, 85, yeah. No, that's great. That someone do one of those, 2008 era recut trailers. Please.
Yes, yeah.
Where they put it in a different genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody had already done that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Does that mean Ali Sheedy died? Is that why they do fives now?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even later on, the director of the facility, when they revealed Dana was supposed to be the virgin, she's like, well, we work with what we have, because the first fact we know about Dana is that she was in a relationship with one of her professors. I don't know what to take away from that, other than it is a point the movie wants to make, and I don't know. Are they trying to say people are more complicated than these little boxes we try and put them in?
Yeah. I think it is an industry thing, right? Like, we get flat characters, and something about that is attractive to the process or to the audience. And again, this is why I wish that whole angle of the movie was stronger and sharper, because yeah, you're right. People in these kind of movies are often pretty flat, one-dimensional characters, and so
yeah,
give me something. Give me a little more.
Or
Come
at
on.
least they're talked about like that. But
Yeah,
I've seen other slasher movies, and I don't know. Maybe that's more true for some of the schlockier, grindhousey style ones. But that was not necessarily my takeaway from Black Christmas or Psycho or even the first Halloween.
Which, is a point that I think goes along with something I believe about this movie, that it is made not for that diehard horror segment that always shows up. And horror fans are some of the most interesting movie fans, because there's something encyclopedic about real horror freaks, right? But this is made for the mainstream, has seen a Halloween, has seen a Friday the 13th, or maybe just knows them by reputation. I think this movie is aimed at the me's of the world, frankly.
Yeah, and it was definitely aimed at the me's of the world at the time it came out. Like I said earlier, where I was in my journey.
But a $30 million budget at the time, and in the early 2010s, that's a mid-budget wide release. That's not Final Nightmare numbers, right? That is a real studio investment with one real studio name in all the marketing. This got a big push for mainstream eyes.
Mm-hmm. But not immediately. That's another interesting thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came out years after it was filmed.
But I think it definitely found a home in the the horror curious rather than the horror diehard. Like this is, yeah. Approachable and accessible is the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
That is good. Although not for everyone. I remember when I was watching this in theaters, when the J horror subplot was resolved, the kids are singing like a song and the ghost is turned into a happy frog to live in peace and harmony forever. I remember someone behind me in the theater going, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, they just don't get comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also like, at that point, your buddy, we're like an hour 15 into the movie here. If you did you like just walk in? I feel like they set that up and explained what is going on pretty well.
It's also about to get a lot weirder. I think it is interesting, like, I guess kind of speaking to the accessibility, how, like, to the stopwatch structured this movie is. Like, when they touch the haunted objects, that is exactly 1/3 through the movie.
Yes, yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about.
When the zombies reach the cabin to threaten the rest of the teens after the first kill, that is exactly halfway through the movie. Like, you can see the, like, screenwriting manual just outside frame, right?
Yep. I actually really appreciate that. I said, I was telling you, and I was texting John before this, somehow, because our I guess this cabin has a 5G. Actually, that's probably because of the genie. The 5G, G's for genie. That makes sense. So I was texting John.
Boo.
Don't boo my 4 relatives, please.
That's at least 4 other episodes we're gonna get, John. Come on, we can't turn that down. That's leaving genies on the table. But yeah, like I think this movie has a real perfect, film school 5-act structure. I probably would teach this if I were doing an intro to horror screenwriting class ever. Because, like you said, it hits those beats at exactly the right times. Although kind of weird timing for horror movies, where you want the kills to start happening a little earlier. Yeah, you've got those things you mentioned, and then like the system purge scene is sort of the climax of the movie.
Leading up to that, the like slow ride through the elevator, every monster that they come across looks way cooler than the zombies do. Except maybe Buzzsaw Pinhead. I wasn't sold on him, but that werewolf. As soon as that,
I think they made a calculated decision with that, to have the cool shit happening at the end. Like that's one of the reasons I do think the system purge scene of like 15 minutes is really the...
As soon as that werewolf showed up, though, I'm just like, why wasn't this a werewolf movie? I want to be looking at this suit the whole movie. It's so good.
Because with the exception of Dog Soldiers, a werewolf movie is not a cabin movie.
I also think that, at least like within the script, they do justify that arrangement, because earlier the two guys, and especially Bradley Whitford, is like complaining about the death that they actually picked, being the family of zombies, as opposed to something amazing like the merman. Yeah.
That merman got a great payoff. That's boy.
Yeah,
it did.
I gotta admit, that's a good payoff. I also think it's interesting in that scene where they're choosing their doom in the basement. They refer to that as transgressing inside the facility. They're like, all we have to do is get them in the basement, and they're gonna fuck this up. Although it is also because they are wicked messed up on stupid juice.
And the entire basement is full of like 10,000 of the most haunted objects.
Yeah, they can't not.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But they're like, okay, they have to choose to transgress out of their own free will. What? Transgress? They put on a necklace and they all die? That sucks. That's not a transgression.
If I solve a Rubik's Cube, have I sinned? Must I talk to my priest about this?
Well, if you unlock the Rubik's Cube, yes.
Oh, because that's cheating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
true,
just
yeah.
it is horror movie logic. Like, don't read the ancient Latin in the middle of the diary. Obviously, that's a terrible idea. Even though,
Yeah,
why
but-
would that ever be an actual transgression?
Right, but exactly to describe that as a transgression is extremely broad, and like maybe that is the organization's own stupid juice. It's like we believe in our corporate line of what we're selling, and that kind of comes across a little bit in they call him the Harbinger, Mordecai, the creepy man who says, if you go up to the cabin, you're gonna die. Which I do like his little spiel to the facility when he calls them on the phone. In part because it seems like he is a true believer. He does believe in the necessity of what he's doing and understands the stakes in a way that the other facility members don't.
Right,
Because
right. So when he calls to essentially just say, I did the thing, they're on their way, he has to crack out the cursed thesaurus to do it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, you must purge the world of their ignorance and sin. And then I really don't like this sort of deflationary move of the big joke where he's on speakerphone. I don't care for that. But I do like that he is also trying to warn the facility there's something different about this crew. There's an invocation that he has to give where they then proceed to the cabin of their own free will. And he says it was almost derailed because of the fool. And
How foolish is he? He knows what's up from the very
Right.
beginning.
Whoa.
But
Jester's privilege.
that gag, though, the speakerphone gag, speaks to the point that the other interpretation you could have of this guy, he's not a true believer. He's a method actor who just got in too deep and is really annoying.
I feel like I'm going to stick with my read of him being a true believer.
Right, because it's more interesting, but it's not the one the movie goes with.
in part because it's more interesting, and I think that is just like, probably a Joss Whedon script note of like, we should have a joke here. And yeah, you're right. If you're there with the stopwatch, you're going, okay, beep, time for a joke. Beep, time for a joke. Beep, time for a zombie kill. But because he tries to warn the facility too, so he's playing this dual role of harbinger for them. And like, you guys also have to hold up your end of this. You have a role to play as well.
If you made the Prestige Cabin in the Woods remake, would you include that as them getting harbinged, and then the facility breakout follows the ritual and saves the world? When, like, the intern is the last survivor because he's their virgin. That's the joke they'd go for.
Yeah, I think that would be, in our dream, it's in the bunker movie or TV show. That's the end of the movie, or that's the season 1 ending, is that the intern is our final girl.
Now, Theron, I do have maybe a slightly different way of reading the speakerphone gag in that.
Sure.
I think that, like, if you imagine Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins as, like, movie studio execs, just like people who are making these horror movies that Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard are sort of like analyzing and making fun of, that I agree that Mordecai does come across as a true believer, and I think the point of that scene is that these guys in the bunker are so just like cynical about everything. It's all mundane. It's all a joke. They don't give a shit about any of the actual meaning of any of it.
Mordecai is the true believer, but like in the way that a passionate film director is.
Yeah. So in a way, he has an artistic vision that they are not necessarily interested in fulfilling, or at least they are, as long as it's selling the product.
Right. And it's almost, I
Yeah,
mean, this
no,
might be a
that's an
stretch,
interesting way
but
to
the
think
fact
about
that they're all they've got a betting pool about what's going to happen to the kids, you could maybe frame as like box office returns.
Or like
just,
the box
you know,
office bets subreddit.
Oh, that too,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah. So there you go.
But
Grant.
like they've
Those
got
are
the
your
big board
shareholders.
with the, you know, here's 20 different random monsters. You know, it's completely random and arbitrary as to what we throw in there. I don't know. I see all of that as a just kind of a send up of how they saw the industry working.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe the facility is the shareholders, like you were asking earlier, and maybe the ancient gods are the old guard of horror fans that need blood literally dripping off the walls and tits out to be satisfied.
Yeah, I could go along with that.
That's a read I would accept. I have two other things to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sure. I think it's, yeah, the way this movie treats its audience and who the audience is meant to identify, either the film's specific audience or the broader global horror audience, is interesting. It's tricky. I think your idea of what the movie is doing, what it's going for, and how successful it is in that is how you answer that question. Because you can see our stoner friend as the audience, and this is suddenly a very complimentary, you know, pat the viewer on the back. What is more flattering than being told, yeah, you're right, weed is going to make you immune to social control, you figured it out.
But it's
Worked
also
on me.
it's a little disdainful of the audience at the same time. Yeah. Oh, is this what you like? You fucking assholes.
Right. But none of those landed for me, because if that's the angle it's going for, then again, the old gods are the audience. And in what world are film viewers all powerful? Like, and the fact that this movie is a success means that
I will tell you,
yeah.
the Reddit Westworld thread was the one time I think where the audience was all powerful.
Right. But like, the fact that this movie was a success, I think, gives lie to the read that if it's trying to say that the way you succeed, the thing you got to do is just hit the tropes, fulfill the expectations, when the whole ending is purposefully like pointing that out and saying it's ridiculous and reductive, and then not doing it, except technically it does, but then it doesn't save the world because, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either, because this is not really the mass market audience typical horror movie. So it is almost also giving the audience the pat on the back, you know, and justifying their feeling of maybe superiority for not liking Friday the 13th Part 10 or whatever. You know, you are correct to think those are trash movies for babies. Which is why it only made double its budget.
Yeah.
So. And why the guy behind me said, "What the fuck is happening?" when the frog jumped out of the bowl. I got just a couple quick things to say, and then I wanted to talk about the topic of surveillance.
For the record, this movie had double the budget of The Faculty, one of its shout-outs. So,
although them's was $1998, so
sure. Like, since it was filmed so long before production, we're talking like a 10-ish year difference. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. One
before release, rather.
thing.
They didn't make it before they made it. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. That would be a lot easier, though. We should just do that. Early on, when they drive through the tunnel for the first time, they're going to the cabin, and then the eagle flies through and hits a big force field in the middle of that giant chasm. Mm-hmm. I hate that, and I can't let it go.
Okay, all right.
Why would you do that?
Do you want to hear a story about why I think you would do that as a filmmaker?
I have some ideas, and I want to hear if ours align.
So I was watching this with my wonderful, lovely wife, who knew nothing about this movie. She recognized the name from when, it was pretty reasonably popular 10 years ago plus a little bit. But all she knew was like, oh, I've heard of some of the people in this. I recognize that poster. And she's sitting next to me, and every once in a while through the first act, she turns to like, what's this movie about again? Like, when do they go to the cabin in the woods? And then that eagle splats itself on the force field, and then she turned to me like, no, really, what's this movie about? I have to know what's going on in this movie. Like that.
Oh, okay.
It's a hook. It is a hook.
Okay, I can see that. I would have rather not revealed the force field until Kurt is trying to jump over the chasm on his dirt bike.
But then but that's the only time it appears. Then you're getting I guess suddenly there is far more control than you expected, even though they've had a huge amount of control. But with the bird, it's a setup payoff.
To me, that's the appeal of having the jump later is like, oh no, they're in total control. But you're right, I hadn't thought about that angle. John, you have to pick one of these doors.
Because of the level of social control, you have to.
Yeah, I actually I thought the bird was one of the funnier moments of the movie, and I really enjoyed how when Kurt is on the motorcycle, like maybe it was because I had seen this once before, but remembering the bird, it became like particularly funny how long they stretched out the lead up to the jump on the motorcycle, because it's like from the moment that you start to get what they're about to do, it's like, oh no, this guy's a goner. And so the fact that they keep dragging it out more and more of like him giving all of the the impassioned speeches about who's going to come back and save them, and and the big driving one direction on the motorcycle before turning around to get enough room, and they just keep amping it up, and I'm laughing more and more as it goes on because you know what's going to happen. I enjoyed that.
Okay, yeah, I accept these arguments. I think you've won me over. Note retracted.
Would you like to hear something else about my lovely dear wife's experience watching this movie?
Absolutely.
She hates the poster so much.
The poster?
The poster.
Oh, the movie.
The movie poster. Yes, because it is so not representative of either of the movies this movie.
No, it's visually interesting. When did she see it? Just recently, when you were prepping for this?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a compelling poster. I think it's also a little weird in like our current horror environment to look at that, because there's a lot more movies about sort of like other dimensions and time loops and stuff now. So I could see how watching it now would lead you towards other paths. But,
right. She was expecting people to be trapped in a recursive cabin. A cabin that folds in on itself and there is no escape because space does not work normally. Or perhaps...
Yes.
Or perhaps a psychological film about people being trapped, like something very introspective with its desaturated colors and more metaphorical folding in on itself. Neither of those are Cabin in the Woods, the movie that exists.
More like the movie Cube.
Yeah.
It has been 0 days since the 1997 movie Cube was mentioned.
I do want to talk about my favorite part of this movie in its own little bit here, and that is sort of what I already called the climax, which is the system purge scene. Certainly where like most of the visual effects budget must have gone.
That ghost is so good.
There's so much. Yeah, so once they get into the elevator and ride the cube down, they start seeing all of the other monsters that could have been unleashed, including later on we see the merman, we see that pinhead looking motherfucker whose name, by the way, is Fornicus, which is very good. That is a very good name.
In case you didn't get the Hellraiser yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I mean, on the big whiteboard in the betting pool, I think he's just referred to as Hell Lord, or at least the fandom seems to agree that is who that's meant to be. But yeah, we see him. We see all of these cubes and stuff. They get downstairs, and then when the security team comes to, murder them, basically, because we've abandoned all pretense that the monsters are going to do it at this point. It's like we have to shoot Marty and then Dana in that order so that we can call it a night, because if the sun comes up, the world will end. And then they hit the big red button that says System Purge. So first of all, why would you have that button?
That's horror
second
movie
of all,
logic.
I do like that there is a Molly guard on the Switch to enable that, which is the name for like the plastic flip covers you put over a Switch.
'Cause that's where you keep your club drugs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I figured it was somebody named Molly.
Supposedly, it was the inventor's daughter was named Molly, and he was like, "I should probably have a switch on this so that my toddler does not destroy the facility or whatever."
Yeah, invoke the ancient gods.
Right. I do suppose they might have had, like, you would have cause to lower one monster in there at a time, and presumably kind of the beginning of Jurassic Park style, get some guys with guns and like tranquilizers and all that kind of stuff to move a monster around for whatever reason. But yeah, they let all the monsters out, and then there's a bloodbath, and it's really funny. It lands with me every time. I think the timing is perfect.
If you notice, like, unicorn written on the whiteboard, you might wonder, how is a unicorn a horror monster? And then that unicorn is just goring people.
Yeah, and the movie, the score even has a little, like, sparkly, like, sound effects behind it. There's a unicorn tearing ass around, goring people. I like that it escalates, and then it's got that thing of... the monsters slaughter the first security team. A second security team shows up. It's floor to ceiling blood. There's like guts fall off of the ceiling in a very good like comic timing. And then the elevators ping open again, and you don't even see what happens. You just see blood splattering on the glass of the control room they're in. I love that scene so much. It's great. Oh, and dismemberment goblins is also a word you do see in the background.
There,
two little flying creatures like pull a guy in half.
Oh, yeah. My favorite on the whiteboard was angry molesting tree.
You see the tree pop out of the elevator and grab a guy.
Oh, I didn't even notice at the end. I just remember that made me laugh on the whiteboard.
It's a reference to the Evil Dead. 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then you do see a tree reach out and grab someone. It's worth watching that scene again, I think, on YouTube or something.
maybe because it's just the kind of guy I am, but I really enjoyed watching the little robot trundle around and chop people to bits. I love a robot.
I love the robot. Oh, yeah.
The one that had the buzzsaw?
I like...
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, the fog ghost is really neat. That's cool to see. The merman gets paid off here with that.
The crew of silent masked murderers, sort of like... Was the first Purge out? Not the movie called The First Purge, but The First Purge.
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
I think they're a reference to The Strangers, which would have just come out around the time the movie's being like written. Really,
They got a good look though. Whatever they're particularly referencing, they're good. They're good.
Yeah, the doll-faced killers, kind of, who later we see in security footage, like just lighting a guy on fire, like pouring gasoline on him and stuff. What is that? Hey, I hate to interrupt us. What is that horrible grinding on metal sound coming from up there? Do the zombies have a concrete saw or an angle grinder or something?
Well, didn't I hear you say you wished for more guests to join you?
Oh, Grant, what an ironic interpretation of the things I said. Can we go further into the bunker or something? Is there... Okay, hold on. I wish we were in a zombie-proof vault.
Theron, I just noticed that monkey's finger going down. Are you sure about this?
Oh, I'm not sure, but you can't unring that bell.
That guy's always trying to take my wishes.
So wait, we still have more wishes. We'll figure this out in a second. After a break. Welcome back. Let's get into some segments. Since we have a guest, we're going to do things a little different this time. Grant, your project coming up is broadly about, among other things, surveillance, as we alluded to before.
I asked to be on the show because I would like to tell everybody about a new audio drama called The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine. You can listen to the first episode, our sort of pilot episode, at lydiadisappears.com. And yeah, this show is about like big data models and about surveillance. It's sort of a techno thriller meets a like magical surrealist adventure, but it is told in found footage. Isn't quite the term because it's audio. It's an audio drama, but assembled audio, if we want to keep the alliteration going, sure. Much in the same way that half of Cabin in the Woods is. In fact, I think it is interesting that Cabin in the Woods came out kind of during a big wave of found footage, right? We're in the middle of the Paranormal Activities coming out this same year. Mm-hmm. Apollo 18 came out in 2011, right? It's in that time.
Drew Goddard had written Cloverfield as his first feature, which is
right.
Also found footage.
Yeah. So to have this movie kind of recontextualize huge swaths of the horror genre as actually they're all found footage. You just don't know who's doing the filming. So do we want to talk about that as a topic, or should I just talk more about Dolph?
Let's do that as sort of a topic and just kind of just, because that's why we agreed on this one. We bandied around a couple other
cool.
movie ideas and also even a video game, which is not
it's true
off the board for the future, but
what do we think about surveillance as a theme or at least something worth talking about in Cabin in the Woods?
It's certainly present when they're driving away just a few minutes into the movie, when they get in the Rambler and head towards the cabin. There's a guy on the rooftop with one of those microphones like on his wrist or whatever, like a Secret Service agent to alert them that I don't remember exactly what he says, like the eagles have left the nest or something. But that kicks it off. It does imply that they've been under surveillance for a while, and then that they talk about all of the things they have done to modify their body chemistry. And they must have been chosen, handpicked for this for quite a bit. I guess even to the point of making Holden transfer schools somehow. Like they must have manipulated that as well. But it's present throughout the movie. There's the painting on the wall with the goat being slaughtered has sort of figures in the background watching over them. And then when they take it away, there's the two-way mirror, which is another sort of male-gazy thing we didn't talk about yet. And then that leads to literal cameras, which we do switch back and forth between someone...
The first hint that the teens get, at least, that something is awry is finding a camera in a broken lamp and pulling the cable all the way up into the wood paneling.
Yeah, and then with the joke of, oh, this is a reality TV show right before a zombie smashes through the window.
I also noticed the deadly serious guy who's in the facility. I'm not even sure what his job is, but his name is Truman, which I was like, oh,
He's
okay.
like
It's
he's
the
like
Truman Show.
armed.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he's there.
He's like
their
the security
armed
chief,
security.
yeah.
For the control bunker. Yeah, and then Mordecai says the Ancient Ones see everything at some point, which is sort of not repeated word for word, but like paraphrased a couple times, throughout the movie. So it's certainly a theme. I thought it was interesting that, like kind of like we see with a lot of our modern surveillance state, that it also doesn't work. Like it does not deliver what it needs to.
It falters when they stop looking, when they pop open the champagne and start partying. No one was looking when the fool escaped a certain death.
Yeah,
and
there were no cameras pointed at
cameras,
that. They're not going to verify the kill.
You don't have cameras in the hidey hole he found in the elevator shaft.
Yeah,
apparently not. There's a bunch inside the facility proper that we use to see people like being killed in the background while we're watching them killed in the foreground during the big purge. But
they have one job, but then when they get in the elevator to go down to the facility, they can't find them. Their only idea is to cycle back and forth between different cameras until they randomly spot them. So yeah, it doesn't take much for the like surveillance apparatus to stumble.
They become trapped in their boxes, right? A camera can see a lot, but it's got blinders, right? The focal width is only so far.
Yeah, that's also a thing where I remember when we see Fornicus, the Hell Lord. No one's looking.
Fornicus the Hell Lord is one of the best titles to come out of 2000 AD. People think it's only Judge Dredd.
You got Strontium Dogs, you got your Judge Dredd, and then you got Fornicus the Hell Lord.
Running right alongside the Ballad of Halo Jones.
Like when you see him and he's looking at Dana like impassively through the glass. In my memory, he like smiles at her or something, like he's anticipating her, demise, but that's not the case. It's totally flat faced. And he's sort of there's two things that I took away from that. One, that the monsters in the facility, many of them may also be victims of this process. Like they didn't sign up to be here. They were captured and brought in and are now held in reserve as weapons to be unleashed against people, right? And you also see that a little bit with at the very end when the zombie girl with one arm, Patience, like just walks calmly past Dana and winds up killing Sigourney Weaver's character, right? Like there is, I don't know, to me there's at least some sense that they are not willing participants in this. That just like our own surveillance state, no one opted into this. We were told one day that it was happening.
Yeah.
And
it's just the metadata, bro. It's just metadata, whatever.
Right, and then Marty kind of alludes to this too, of if you need these horrible creatures to do, what is the end goal if you're just holding on to these things forever? Should anyone have access to these monsters? What if a bad actor gets a hold of them? Like, does the facility only work if it's driven by an enlightened philosopher king like Sigourney Weaver, or a true believer like Mordecai? I don't know. Where's the oversight?
I know the answer you're angling for, but I would also be interested in a society that was run by Sigourney Weaver personally.
Sigourney Weaver, the actor? Yes. Sigourney Weaver's character in this? I don't know.
No. Just Sigourney Weaver herself. Maybe I'm more curious than anything. I could it be worse? Really? I don't know.
A sort of Sigournocracy, where there's We're only answerable to Sigourney Weaver.
There are better choices, sure.
But there are
I
much
wouldn't
worse
mind
ones, yeah.
to be under God Queen Jane Fonda. That'd be okay. But
I really like with her, and this is still on topic, so bear with me. The very subtle costume choice to have her in gloves, not getting her hands dirty. You know, none of. She can't possibly be held responsible for anything that has happened here.
right.
And like supposedly is above it all, but also maybe interfered to make sure that the tunnel didn't blow up. Like they talked about that glitch as happening from upstairs. So who's culpable in everything? Because she sort of blames the ritual and the ancient gods, right?
Yeah, I didn't really get the part about it coming from upstairs. Like,
Yeah,
maybe I didn't think about it hard enough, but it seemed like a loose thread that never really got tied up.
I thought the tunnel failing to blow was because of our hero boy just yanking on wires inside the elevator shaft. I thought that I thought the charge not working was his doing.
I didn't think
That
about
does
that.
make sense, but
Why would
don't
why would
still
you hook
get
those
the part-
systems up?
Well, also, like, they do specifically say, like, it came from above or upstairs or whatever it was. And so for them to say that at one point doesn't really jive with the idea that it was all Marty's doing.
Yeah, because earlier
I
in the
guess
film,
in that case,
sorry.
in that case, I interpreted upstairs to mean literally above us, up at the surface. Whereas you're right, every other time they say upstairs, they mean Sigourney Weaver's office.
Yes,
so.
senior administration, senior management. But you're right. Yeah, maybe there is something to that where like the whole thing is compromised due to the elevator thing. I don't know. I mean, is there any more there other than, like I said, if maintaining the surveillance state means that we have to keep these horrible, some of them immortal beings as like a pillar of our strategy, is that good? And that we have to keep it
Did you know
secret?
that every president and secretary of state has had dinner with the Hell Lord? They're all friendly with him.
I remember those internet memes about, you know, the Reaper using a claw machine, and it says, "Is the Hell Lord even in this thing?" Was it Fornicus's idea to bomb Cambodia? We'll never know. We just don't know, because this was all kept secret from the public.
I feel like Fornicus isn't that evil. He's just looking for a good time. His definition of a good time is not mine.
Yeah, and truly the scale in which things operate is... Well, you know, but that's another thing of when they show footage from some of the other failed rituals that are happening around the world, some of them are natural disasters. Some of them are kaiju. Right? Like we're talking mass death events. And and we have to assume that they have a similar like bunker setup and other surveillance and stuff, because you know they've got cameras on the classroom in Japan. Mm-hmm. So yeah, is this global apparatus good?
And also that each office is surveilling one another, right? And maybe that's just, you know, a fact of how do you put things on film? You put a camera on it. It's a movie. But the fact remains that they're gossiping about other offices, and they have a live video feed of one another going at all times, right? Like they are competitors and allies, and they aren't trusting each other, even though they're all working toward the same goal all at the same time, which is not terribly dissimilar to like the various intelligence services of the various nations of the world.
Yeah, it is bizarre when you actually get on any website and look up like how many intelligence agencies there are. there's a lot more in the U.S. than I thought, and they all have very, they have very specific missions, but seemingly very broad powers to pursue those.
Yeah.
And I just kind of didn't know, and made me feel dumb and silly.
And the whole hey, we're not spying on you. We're legally required to not spy on you. There's no law against us spying on our neighbors' citizens and then trading with their people doing the same thing to us. That's fine.
Yeah, we are definitely not spying on you. However, there are tax benefits to installing a Ring doorbell that the police can look at if they need to, if they say it's necessary.
Yeah.
Only if they ask us will we immediately accede to the request. Shit sucks.
Do you think that the filmmakers were thinking of any of these sorts of things when they included these elements of surveillance, or do you think it's sort of a not a coincidence, but just that an extra allegory that they didn't intend?
It's a good question. It's sort of necessary for the movie to exist.
Yeah.
And like Grant was saying, how do you put something on film? Well, you got to point a camera at it at some point. And so the idea
at the same time,
like,
Drew Goddard was 26 when the Patriot Act was passed.
Yeah.
They know. He knows. He's living in the world.
Right. It was certainly at least in the air, whether he intended it or not. I do think their ultimate critical point was supposed to be discussing the male gaze and horror movie tropes. But in order to do that degree of separation that the camera allows does enable you to look critically at the surveillance apparatus. Do you think they're funded by congressional appropriations, or is this just an independent?
This is what the black budget is.
Is this an NGO that's existed since Mesopotamia?
Feeding those bat monsters does not come cheap.
I understood it as the NGO thing. It seemed like they were part of a very long line.
Yeah.
Of, puppet masters trying to appease these gods.
Yeah.
What they don't tell you is this is actually UNICEF.
When your kids are running around collecting pennies at Halloween,
this is where they go.
That's where those pennies go. The organization got caught up in a big credit card skimming scandal, and then the world ended because they couldn't get funding.
They ran out of stupid juice.
This does make me think about they talk about how you can't just tie a girl to a rock and throw her in a volcano anymore.
Yeah.
So in a way, the escalation of things and the need for secrecy might almost be an outgrowth of the existence of cameras and these sort of stories that change over time. What's an acceptable way to sacrifice people changes over time, and so that I'm not sure if I can thread this needle or not exactly, but the idea of moving images and film images capturing these things created a feedback loop where now this is what the ancient ones need to see. Because I remember over the opening credits there's sort of pictures of Aztec style, cutting the heart out sacrifices, and some sort of wood carving of a black mass or something. And so our society has changed, and the ancient ones' expectations have changed with it, and
down to the painting in the bedroom of the cabin showing the scapegoat, right?
Yeah, literally a scapegoat. Yeah.
I think it ties into the, horror movie genre convention analysis as well, in that that seems like a metaphor for, a long time ago, movies could be a lot simpler and do things like just throw a girl in a volcano, but now, or at least in 2011 or whatever, we have to have these million different elaborate ways of murdering these kids and coming up with new and exciting ways to torture them.
Every time, basically every conversation we have suggests to me a better version of this movie. Because when you talk about the question you raised a minute ago, like what's the acceptable way to sacrifice someone in a examination of the film industry, that every story that comes out about how awful people are, in the revolving door of which movie starlet do we like now, therefore we must hate the last one so much.
Yeah, the Anne Hathaway problem.
Yeah.
I have never met a single person.
Jennifer Lawrence before her, and Lupita Nyong'o after her, and all of them.
I've never met a single person on this pale blue dot who can explain why Anne Hathaway is bad to me. It's just an accepted thing. I mean, if we are going to talk about the revolving door of people we hate, this movie was produced by one of them.
Okay, but I know what he did. I know in harrowing detail sometimes what he did.
Yeah, it's difficult to sort of, I guess, accept the movie's criticism of horror movies' objectification of women when there are so many allegations out about Joss Whedon's abuse of his cast and crew and co-writers. We don't need to focus on that or anything, but it's one of the things that that makes the critique hard to swallow. Any other thoughts about? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna help segue by saying, well, speaking of people behind the camera, there's some in front of it.
Yeah.
Who's that jabroni?
Who is that jabroni? Let's start with you. You may not be familiar with their work, but I got two jabronis real quick. Blink and you miss them. Small roles. Camera's barely even on them. But this Chris Hemsworth fellow, I think he's going places. And Sigourney Weaver, pretty promising as well. You may be familiar with some of their earlier and later work. Chris Hemsworth was, of course, Thor in the MCU, among other things, and Sigourney Weaver was in a billion things. I mean, I know her most from Ghostbusters, of course. But yeah, kind of two people that need no further introduction. I did have one quick thing to say. Sigourney Weaver's cameo as the director of the facility, that definitely should have been Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Like, am I?
You're not wrong.
Am I out of my mind to say that? I could not find any information on if they sought other people for that cameo or not. But that was a thought I had, even when I saw it in theaters. Was like, should this not have been Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, they got the lady famous for the Cabin in the Woods movie, but the woods is space.
Yeah. That's true. What is space but the woods of the sky? As I'm always saying. Who else has
is that
some
Dylan?
jabronis?
Bob Dylan?
Yeah, Bob Dylan said that.
You get the Pulitzer for that one. Yeah, that's why they did it. Yeah.
My jabroni
Grant
is...
or John?
Oh, go ahead.
I got a jabroni, which feels like a rude way to refer to Jesse Williams, whose work I enjoy. I think he's probably best known, outside of being, of course, Kurt, the quote-unquote scholar in this film, for the years and years he spent as a main cast member on Grey's Anatomy. But instead, I want to highlight him joining the third season cast of Only Murders in the Building. He's a delight in that show, which is itself a delight.
What does he play?
He plays a
He's
sort of
building.
photojournalist who invites himself on the third season's murder investigation through the Broadway industry. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, my jabroni was Fran Kranz, or Francis Kranz, who played Marty, the stoner. I thought I recognized him. I mistook him for someone else on the show Silicon Valley. But actually, he...
Isn't that jabroni? Wait a minute.
So jabroni, we sailed past him and into Silicon Valley.
Yeah, but apparently he was my favorite part of this movie. I thought he got some of the best lines, and he was just very entertaining. He was, I think you pointed out, he was also in Much Ado About Nothing by Joss Whedon, and then apparently had a stint on Broadway. He's been in a number of movies, and then he just had his own directorial debut a couple of years ago with a movie called Mass that apparently is a drama about two couples dealing with something tragic that happened to their sons. But I'm very curious to see a little bit more of that guy's work, just because I thought he did such a fun job with what he was given.
His voice work, the vocal choices he's making are great, because that is not his real voice. I was very surprised that he was able to be so funny and so consistent while doing a really bold character choice, I thought. I only have one more jabroni, if that's all right, and that is Dan Payne, who plays... Which one? The real big zombie Buckner.
The dad.
Matthew.
I think.
He's actually... I had to look this up on the Cabin in the Woods wiki. He's actually the oldest brother, turns out. I thought he was the dad, but...
Oh, I see.
We're all so invested in the Buckner mythology.
I just... Kids want to know more about the Buckners. That's, the spin-off show, Keeping Up with the Buckners, was good. The sitcom Buckners and Co. This is nothing. Don't listen to me. No, I thought it was interesting. Like, on his Instagram, he's just this, like... He's a tall guy, and he's got a, like... broad broad shoulders and just kind of a dad bod, and he's been a heavy in the background of basically every science fiction show of the last 15 years, and that's all. I just think he's really imposing, and he was on Stargate a lot.
But which was the better role?
Oh, probably that. I don't know. I mean, he's not a real big role. I'm just happy to see a big dude getting work. Because I would have assumed he was like a wrestler, because that's usually who they cast in roles like this. But no, he's just professional big guy. Anyone got?
That'd be a good business card. Professional big guy.
Yeah, professional big guy. Yeah.
Oh, he was in Star Trek Beyond, which is the best of the new Star Trek movies, also featuring Chris Hemsworth as Kirk's deceased dad in the prologue of the first one.
All right, if there are no more jabronis, please Scotch guard your clothes as we step into Uncle Savini's Splatter Zone, where we're going to talk about an effect we liked, and maybe how they did it, or how we think they might have done it. Grant, you want to go first?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, it has to be the merman attack. And the absolute geyser of blood that squirts out of the merman's blowhole. This is apparently a mammalian merman that brings Bradley Whitford to his final repose.
Yeah. Apparently they had to experiment with how much blood was the funniest, and actually had to tone it down.
It right.
Yeah, they had to tone it down because I would have thought the more blood, the more funny. But no, the little mist is actually really good. And of course, that was a guy in a suit with a little blood hose. We love the blood hose here on Board the Windows.
Yeah, there's not much mystery in how, but boy, I'm glad they did.
It works out. It works out great. That suit is great. The little fin flipping in the back when he's doing the murder is great. The fact that like the stunt performer is whatever he's doing with his body to make it look like it is so painful to be out of the water is just it's a really expressive, funny payoff and good effect.
I appreciate that they did that practical as well.
Yeah.
Even though there were CG monsters all over the place.
Mm-hmm. John, you got a splatter zone?
Mine was I guess just largely the monster cubes near the end when they're seeing all of the different possibilities. I particularly enjoyed the ballerina girl with a mouth full of horrible, like, Dune style worm teeth.
Yeah, like the lamprey face on her.
Yeah, the
100%.
lamprey ballerina.
There's a really good featurette on the DVD about the cubes that I liked. The cubes were going to be mine. Luckily, I've got a backup, but it was neat seeing. So they had a bunch of different size cubes, a lot of green screens behind them, but they also had like cubes that were just 2 inches big that they just stuffed real bugs in, and you can see like what seemed to be giant bugs crawling around in that.
That's so good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so simple and so good. Or there's like a forest giant in one of the cubes apparently, and all they did was hire a tall guy and then put him in a 4-foot tall cube, so he has to bend over. It's the most basic trick photography with a green screen, but it's really good. And like the blob is in one of them, but that is just a big pile of like latex that they're blowing into with a straw, also in a small cube. Just wonderful stuff. I guess I will say it's either got to be the werewolf for me, which was well, okay, yeah, we already talked about the werewolf. It's a big practical suit for the most part. That's really neat. Yeah, what's the term for like when you've got reverse legs like a dog?
Digitigrade?
Yes, that was the only thing they did was remove the actors like green screened legs, so they could have the proper werewolf running around digitigrade legs. That's a tough one.
Oh, like dog legs where the knee goes the opposite way? Is that what you're
right?
saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's make sure we don't choke on him. Sorry, Corporal Rhodes. And get on any last thoughts that we wanted to say earlier and didn't occur. I will go first this time. There is apparently there's a whole like 9-minute featurette just about Marty's pot paraphernalia. Also on the DVD. And I just thought that was funny. And like I said earlier, it gave you a glimpse into. He was saying we had to figure out like, the thing with the last joint that Marty had on his person, and like the actor didn't want it to be in a case. He wanted it to be like the one he actually brought out, which is like a little beat up looking. That's just like stuffed in a pocket. But he also shows Marty's stash, which has been doctored by the facility, and then Marty's secret stash, which was other more potent pot that he had that somehow shielded him from the stupid juice, which again, like a detail I think they should have focused on a bit more. Who's got I'm sorry, I'm gonna whatever, this is my podcast, I can do whatever I want. One last thought I didn't want to choke on. The scenes at night are really, really, really dark, and I'm wondering if it was supposed to be more of a day for night kind of look, because I found it really difficult to see some of the stuff going on in the night scenes.
I wonder how much of that was intentional, because you just reminded me that one of my favorite bits of the movie was the shot where like things have just started to go badly. Kurt and Dana have been attacked, and Marty is standing outside of the cabin. He's facing the camera, and it's a wide shot.
Uh-huh.
And deep in the background, you can see the little girl zombie patients as she's coming towards the camera. And I thought, like, the lighting and the direction of the actors and the timing of that was really, really well done, because it does a great job of giving you that building suspense of, like, just seeing those little flashes in the background of that monster, and knowing that the character in front of you has no idea, and then, like, he turns because he hears something, and that is the exact same moment that the monster, like, dips out of the light before coming back in again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do at least think that the lighting was probably very intentional throughout the movie.
Yeah, but I've also seen some behind the scenes stuff, and it looked like they might have actually even filmed that stuff during daytime, and, like, maybe there was supposed to be some sort of day for night joke, and then they had to, like, put a filter over it. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
You want a supplemental jabroni?
Absolutely.
All right, so Patience.
A jabrindum, I believe we've established.
Okay, all right. So
we did, actually.
Patience Buckner, the zombie, is played by Jodelle Ferland, who has a real, like, horror pedigree. She was young Carrie in the flashback scenes of the 2002 TV edition of Carrie. She's one of the newborn vampires in the Twilight Saga Eclipse. She's even in children's or tweens supernatural series So Weird from right around the turn of the millennium. And relevant to this show's zombified interests, she is a major voice role, Aggie, in the film Paranorman.
Well, that's our segue.
right.
That's why we have to do that next.
All right.
Yeah. Anyone else got thoughts that I want to choke on?
Yes, I do. I was just curious, because I had this conversation briefly with my wife. Who do you both think the main character of this movie is?
I think, if you think about it, the main character is really New York City.
The natural choice is between Marty and Dana, right? And there's a real, like, dark horse in Bradley Whitford as himself.
I'd have to lean towards Marty.
I'm gonna stick with Dana, honestly, and let me say why. For one thing, she doesn't disappear for, like, an act of the film, thought dead.
True. Yep.
The sudden return and rescue is, like, top tier sidekick stuff. That's not lead character business. But also, like, the finale is her choice. She has the gun. She decides what to do. And, like, Marty is a major part of the film, including the end, but he's not the one on the trigger, right?
You got me there. The movie does.
And he did
revolve
engineer it
around
that
her.
way, as discussed earlier. Actually,
Yeah.
he gave that up. He passed on the symbol of being the protagonist, which in the United States is having a gun.
No, there's something to that. You're absolutely right. Also, I suppose having the best lines in the movie is classic side character shit. in genre.
Personally, I also thought it was Marty, actually, even with everything that you said. And I might counter, as far as the, like, who makes a big final decision in the end. I mean, at least from my recollection, I don't think she does make a decision, in that, like, yes, she holds the gun up. She's clearly thinking about it, but has not yet pulled the trigger, and then really the decision is taken away from her because she gets attacked by...
She's attacked by a moose.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. And so my reading of it, I thought like, I'd almost be inclined to say Marty is the main character because he is the one that, like, actually changes throughout the movie as he realizes what's going on and is vindicated in some of his earlier comments about, like, the nature of society and all these sorts of things. And then at the end even he's the one to forgive Dana for like potentially almost killing him or something like that.
I guess you could also I can split this up. You could make the theater history 101 case of Dana is the main character, but Marty is in many ways the protagonist.
Sure.
Because of the growth and, like, he makes a lot of choices that advance the story. But on the other hand, yeah, it does revolve around Dana and her decisions.
Marty does kill patients, right? Marty kills the last zombie, and that is meaningful in this genre.
That's true. So we're saying this movie might be a little confused about what it's trying to do.
Well, the button on that is that I think you could make an argument that this movie is not actually a horror or a parody or satire of a horror, but is in fact a stoner comedy.
Yeah.
I accept this reading, and you can hear more about it in our spin-off podcast, Smoke the Windows. I don't know. That's nothing.
Hotbox. That's it. We got to slowly build the podcast empire.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do some pluggables. Why don't tell you what?
That sounds so weirdly sexual.
That's true.
I don't think I like pluggables as the name of the segment.
Oh, okay.
I'm half joking, but
let's do our hole fill-ins. Let's do
Grant, are you ready to fill some holes?
Absolutely. I'm ready to fill some holes in your schedule with some wonderful things to listen to.
Absolutely.
As I mentioned at the top, you can go to chipandironicus.com, and what you're going to see there, well, you're going to see 16 years and counting of Let's Plays. The last couple of years are really good. I also make an actual play show called 6 Feet Under, currently in the middle of a Star Wars-based campaign that we call Renegade Scum. That's fantastically good. I'm really happy with it, having a lot of fun making that. My wife and I recently finished a Riverdale Watch podcast called Sex Archie. So if you want to hear more about where she's coming from and her perspectives and why the poster of Cabin in the Woods is an awful damn dirty lie, you can listen to Sex Archie. But as I mentioned a little while ago, what I'd really like to point people toward is a little website called lydiadisappears.com, where you're going to hear the first episode of the disappearances of Lydia Fontaine. Right now, live on Kickstarter, we are raising funds for the rest of the series. This first episode was all done on a volunteer basis out of the love of our hearts, but you know what is work? Writing and directing and producing and editing, and yes, even acting, which is my small role on this project. Me and like 20 other people. It's a full cast. I'm really enjoying it, but that means we're going to need some funds to make the rest of it. That's what the Kickstarter's for. You can go to Kickstarter, look for the disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, and see all the rewards available to you. But most of all, just listen to the show, spread it around. I think you're going to like it. I think your friends are going to like it too. And when people realize it exists and they like it, that's going to make that Kickstarter campaign successful and make us have a chance to make the rest of the story. I play Alexi Fontaine, the corporate amoral uncle of the titular Lydia, who keeps disappearing, as that title would suggest. And it's a lot of fun
Rascal.
being a guy. Oh yeah. It's a lot of fun being the guy who has speaking of the surveillance apparatus, his finger on the button, going into the office and being like, okay, what do we get off of this camera? What do we get off of that microphone that's just there for people to give voice commands to their ATM? He's up to some schemes. His motives are obscured, and he doesn't trust anyone in his family for good reason. They're all a bunch of jerks.
And he doesn't need stupid juice to accomplish his nefarious schemes.
No, he just needs so much money, which he has handily. So again, all of that is at lydiadisappears.com. LYDIA disappears.com. Disappears has one S and two P's, by the way.
But not where you think.
No, exactly where you think. Please.
There
You can joke about anything but the URLs of the plugs, please.
We will make this easy on our listeners by putting those URLs directly beneath where you are finding this.
Thank you very much.
All right, and you can find us at Board Windows Pod on co-host, and we will have a Patreon very shortly. So that'll be check out the description and also that co-host link. Our last thing is a rating of the dead. Shall we rate this sucker? Let's go John, me, Grant. So we are going to rate this between 1 and 5 for any of the Romero of the Dead films. How, what is it closest to? And what rating are you going to give it? Whole numbers only. It's got to be at least 1 to maximum 5. I cannot imagine why I invented such an esoteric rating system.
Well, with that said, I figured I might be, a bit of a scamp and tweak this by saying that I would give it 3 out of 5 Shawns of the Dead.
That is illegal.
Yeah, I just think it, as a commentary and humorous analysis of horror convention, it gets a good chunk of the way there, but just doesn't quite make it in the way that that Shaun of the Dead did.
All right. I suspect I will not be able to pressure you into picking a Romero one, so I will go. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 Diary of the Deads. For basically the same reason you said, like as a commentary. I don't think it really lands. As a zombie movie, it doesn't really land either. Yeah, it's not gonna... And I'll give it 1 out of 5 screams as a commentary on the slasher genre.
Theron, I could hear the disappointment in your voice. I will recant and give it 2 out of 5 Dawns of the Dead, the 78 version specifically, and that being because I think Dawn of the Dead also was trying to play with some of the tropes of the genre and even Romero's own earlier work, but I think Dawn of the Dead managed to do it a little more subtly. And Theron, like you mentioned, like it just feels like there's a bit more rewatch value on that one than there is in Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I'll actually be seeing it in theaters for the first time in a couple days.
Hey, nice. That big tour is coming out.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
restoration.
Check out, I think Dawn 45 US. I don't know. We'll pop a link in here way below all the other more important links in case you want to see if that's coming to your area. And Grant.
I'm going to give it 3 out of the 5 Land of the Deads, just because the Land is the one with the biggest budget, the slickest of them, which I think is something that Cabin in the Woods really has going for it, right? it's a movie that could be made for $5 million above ground, but you see all $30 million once they get to that bunker.
That's true. That's where the other 25 mil went.
Yeah. But the 3 out of 5, just because like it's a movie that nails the fundamentals, but just doesn't have the gas when it's going for something broader, which is why it's so strange to me that those satirical elements or commentary elements are what it's remembered for, when they're really the ropiest bit of the whole thing.
That is a really good way to put it. Yeah, I think that's the best. I think that is the best rating for the reasons you've said. That's great. Well, Grant, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I'm so glad we plugged in the cursed microphone that summoned you.
Mm-hmm. I'm also so glad about that. Your souls are forfeit. It's wonderful.
You know, for a genie, you were very insightful.
There's not much to do but just sort of sit and think inside the cursed microphone.
Yeah, insightful, and may I say, very forthright and honest about our situation and our souls and everything. Always appreciated.
When there's no escape, what's the point of beating around the bush, right?
Yeah. Well, let's use our last wish to get out of here. But before that, everybody, remember...
If you kill the brain...
You kill the ghoul. Was that the genie voice?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. That was the one.
Okay.